What's up, YouTube? It's JackalGoldKick. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about 4 game series that I'd like to see return in 2022, which is this year. So I tried to go for game series that, in terms of their future or them coming back, it's a lot more uncertain, a lot more up in the air. I'm not going to pick typical ones, like I'm not going to put GTA on here, Resident Evil, Gears of War, any of those series, because we know they're going to have more entries and they're still alive and well and they're still around. But I wanted to just talk about the series that, in terms of their future or where they're headed, it's a lot more uncertain and up in the air. And that's what this video is about. So here's my list for 4 game series that I would like to see return in 2022. So at number 4, we have the Def Jam video game series. So when it comes to the Def Jam video game series, I'm definitely a big fan of it, and I would love to see it return in 2022. I mean, the chances of it coming back are pretty slim, but it's a series I would definitely like to see come back in 2022. I'm a big fan of Def Jam. I love Def Jam Vendetta. I love Def Jam Fight for New York. Those were great games in the PS2. I had a lot of fun with them. Def Jam Vendetta was a good wrestling game with rappers in it, some good hip hop music. Def Jam Fight for New York was a really good fighting game with, rappers in it and certain celebrities like Danny Trejo and stuff. And Def Jam was just a cool concept because it took video games and hip hop and fighting games and combined it together. And it's one of the only fighting game series I like because it's a lot more basic and simple, and it's not so much, having to remember a bunch of combos and stuff, the complexity of a lot of other fighting games I don't really care for. And I liked how simple Def Jam was, and I love Vendetta and Fight for New York. They were classic games, they were amazing games. Now, the third one, Def Jam Icon, that game was a fucking piece of shit. I did not like Def Jam Icon. That was lame. That was the worst one in the series, and that's the last one they've made. And it was really bad. I remember playing it in the launch 360 days and not really caring for it. It had a lackluster roster. I mean, the last boss, you literally fight a detective, a cop, which is pretty lame compared to the bosses you fought at the end of Vendetta and Fight for New York. And I just remember the combat and overall feel of the game not really being that satisfying. I remember it being a pretty lame sequel and a lame follow-up to the first 2 Def Jam games. But I would still like to see Def Jam come back in 2022. I would love to see either a new Def Jam game or a remaster of the first 2 Def Jam games, or even a remake of the first 2 Def Jam games. It's a series that's very popular, very successful, and if they brought Def Jam back, I have a feeling it would do really well because a lot of people love Def Jam. Def Jam Fight for New York, especially, if you want to get it physically on any of the consoles, it's very expensive. It goes for like $90 or like $100 more. I'm glad I still have my copy. So if they brought Def Jam back, it would probably do really well and be really successful. And I just thought it was a really cool game series. And I feel like there's a lot they could do with that franchise if they did bring it back in 2022. Like include a bunch of rappers you never had before. I would love to see a new Def Jam game where you include like Tupac, Biggie, Eminem, all of G Unit, all of D12, Dr. Dre, maybe all of NWA, the rest of West Side Connection, which is pretty much Ice Cube. Have Ice Cube in there. You put the rest of the Wu-Tang Clan members in there. Basically put more rappers in Def Jam that we haven't had yet. That's what I would love to see. Now for the dead rappers, it would be a little bit more difficult when I mentioned Tupac and Biggie because the real Tupac and Biggie are dead, unfortunately. But I think you could find someone to sound a lot like them because there's definitely people out there that sound like Eminem and stuff. So I'm pretty sure you could find people to sound like Tupac and Biggie. So I'd like to see those guys, G Unit, 50 Cent, Eminem, Dr. Dre, etc. I would like to see those kind of rappers, Ice Cube and stuff like that. I'd love to see those kind of rappers and artists in a new Def Jam game. And I think that would be pretty awesome. So yeah, my number 4 choice is Def Jam for one of the game series I want to see return in 2022. I thought it was a great game franchise. The first 2 entries are amazing. I love those games, have a lot of nostalgia for them. They're amazing games. They're fantastic. Great combination of hip hop and fighting games and video games together. The first one's a great wrestling game. The second one's a great fighting game. Just cool ass games. People love them. I love them. They're very successful. They have an awesome soundtrack and they're just great. They're great games and they're some of the best games I've played and definitely just awesome. And I would love to see the franchise come back to redeem itself after the shitty ass Def Jam Icon and just come back and include a lot more rappers than they did in the past, especially since hip hop is so popular now and a lot more, a lot more variety than how much genres are in hip hop and what they mix in hip hop and stuff. I think Def Jam would be even more successful and more popular if they brought it back. And that's one I want to see come back in 2022 because it's a good game series and it deserves to have more done with it. My number three pick for game series I want to see return in 2022 is the Left 4 Dead game franchise. I'm a fan of Left 4 Dead. I think it's a really good series. I like Left 4 Dead 1. I like Left 4 Dead 2. They're really good, fun, co-op, or even single-player zombie games. Good first-person shooter zombie games with really good maps, really good weapons, really cool special infected, really cool characters, cool character design, and just such a unique game with how the game feels, the HUD, the special infected and the music cues for them. The Left 4 Dead games are just so unique, original, and just amazing games. I prefer the first one over the second one because of the maps and the cast, but I still do like Left 4 Dead 2 as well. But yeah, I like both the Left 4 Dead games. I think they're amazing, great games, and they're just fantastic. They were amazing and really good games, but they were also very original and very unique. They did a lot of things different. They brought a lot of new stuff to the table, and they were really good. And it would be refreshing to have Left 4 Dead come back in 2022 and have this series return to be a refresher from a lot of these other, in my opinion, crappy, inferior first-person zombie games like Dead Island, which I don't care for, Dying Light, which I don't care for, Back 4 Blood, which was a piece of shit. It would be nice to see a proper first-person zombie game series come back that's actually good, instead of the shit we've been getting now like Dead Island and Dying Light and fucking Back 4 Blood. I didn't care for any of those games. Now, granted, the developers of Back 4 Blood were the same developers that made Left 4 Dead, but still, from my knowledge, Valve was not involved with Back 4 Blood, and some of the people involved with Back 4 Blood was only like a small percentage of Turtle Rock Studios, and the majority of the developers were not involved with Back 4 Blood. So, if you got the rest of the developers involved with Left 4 Dead again, as well as Valve, then I think you can make some new good stuff, and I think Left 4 Dead could come back, and that would be another series I would love to see come back in 2022. Another reason I'd like to see Left 4 Dead come back is I feel like Left 4 Dead never really got a proper sequel. I mean, I like Left 4 Dead 2, but it wasn't really a jump of a sequel. It was just like the same as Left 4 Dead 1, but with extra content. It came out just a year later after the first one, and it just feels like we never had a Left 4 Dead sequel that was truly like maybe a 2 or 3 year jump where they did a whole lot more with it. Because Left 4 Dead 2 is good, but it feels like just the first one with DLC. So that's another reason I like to see Left 4 Dead come back, so we can get a proper sequel that doesn't just feel like the same game with extra content. I like both the Left 4 Dead games. I think it's a really good series, and I would love to see it come back. I think it has a lot of potential. Maybe if they make a new one, they could add in like progression, being able to customize your characters, maybe a more in-depth thing on the story, because they kind of tried to do more with the story from Left 4 Dead 1 to Left 4 Dead 2, whereas Left 4 Dead 1 was just playing stages, and Left 4 Dead 2 had more of a connected path. So maybe they could go more in depth with the story, include more maps, maybe even have more characters in there, more special infected, more types of guns, progression system, maybe a leveling up system, maybe being able to customize your characters, stuff like that. I don't know if that would ruin it because Left 4 Dead is fun for being very simplified, whereas Back 4 Blood was a lot more complex. But still, maybe you could try these things and they could work. Just some ideas I'm throwing out there. But yeah, my number 3 spot for game series I want to see return in 2022 this year is definitely Left 4 Dead. That's a really good franchise. I love it. It's great, very unique, very original, fun game series with great characters, great universe, really cool special effected, unique games, great cast of characters, classic video games, very iconic, very memorable, and just very original games. And I would love to see that series return in year 2022 because the last time I made a Left 4 Dead game was Left 4 Dead 2, and I think that was like 2009. And we haven't had a Left 4 Dead we haven't had a Left 4 Dead game since. And I would love to see a Left 4 Dead 3. That would be really cool, and I would be really hyped for it, and it would make up for that piece of shit Back 4 Blood, because I didn't like that fucking game. That game sucked. I played it on Game Pass, didn't care for it. It didn't have any of the magic of Left 4 Dead. It felt like a cheap, lame, bland knockoff of Left 4 Dead, and I want a proper Left 4 Dead 3, not no bullshit like what Back 4 Blood was. So yeah, my number 3 choice, Left 4 Dead. Would love to see it return in 2022, because it's a great game series, very unique, very original, and it's an amazing franchise. So, my number 2 choice for game series I want to see return in 2022 this year is The Evil Within. Now, I like the Evil Within franchise. I'm a big fan of The Evil Within 1. I love The Evil Within 1. I thought it was a great game. Played it on Xbox 360. Then I bought it again and played it on PS4, and I really enjoy The Evil Within 1. It's probably my favorite game of the 8th generation because it's similar to RE4, but yet it stands on its own in a lot of ways, and it's just a really good survival horror game, a really good challenging game. It has great characters, good atmosphere, fun gameplay, a lot of different stuff they do with it with survival horror stuff. Very challenging, creepy at times, and a good, just a good semi open world slash more of a linear game. And I really enjoyed The Evil Within 1. I thought it was a good game. However, I was not a big fan of the sequel. I just didn't really care for The Evil Within 2. I thought it was a lame follow-up to The Evil Within 1. I just wasn't really a big fan of The Evil Within 2. I found it to be very disappointing. I feel like it had none of the magic of The Evil Within 1. The Evil Within 2 just felt like a watered-down, streamlined version of Evil Within 1. It was way easier. It had more of a generic, hold-your-hand kind of story. It lost that, gritty saw, so much blood in your face that the first game had. It's all clean looking. There's a bunch of NPCs with dialogue boxes like it's fucking Fallout or something. There's crafting. It's open world bullshit like this. The story simplified. They changed the voice actors. I wasn't a big fan of The Evil Within 2. I was very disappointed by it. I think the first game is much better. I enjoyed that one more because it had a better atmosphere, it was more challenging, it felt more survival horror. I liked the voice actors more, I liked the story more. Yeah, it was complex, but it was a very interesting story, compared to Evil Within 2. I really liked the Evil Within 1. But Evil Within 2, in my opinion, was very disappointing. Just a lame follow-up, a really lame follow-up. Just open world crap, stupid dialogue boxes trying to be like Fallout and those other fucking games. Crafting, open world bullshit, boring ass open world hub areas, not linear anymore, not really scary anymore, not really challenging. The AI is brain dead, the enemy design fucking sucks. The zombies themselves, I think they're called the Lost, they look fucking dumb. They're just a bunch of people with red eyes and white paste all over them. They look stupid. They looked way cooler in Evil Within 1, where they actually had shit in their head, like fucking blades and stuff in their face, a pipe in their head. Some of them had like a cool looking purge mask with a suit. The enemies had a lot more, cooler design and stuff. And Evil Within 2 was just a lame follow-up, just a streamlined, casually made, watered down version of Evil Within 1. And a lot of that is explained by the fucking director. I mean, the director of Evil Within 1 was Shinji Mikami, and it was more so involved with Japanese team. Evil Within 2 was directed by a American developer, and you can tell because most of the time when a Western developer gets their hands on a Japanese franchise, they just fuck it up. Happened at Dead Rising, and it also happened in the Evil Within. And another reason I want to see the Evil Within return in 2022 is I want better from the franchise. I love the first one, but I was disappointed by the second one. I would love to see a third Evil Within game that goes back to the first game, and it's more like what the Evil Within was in the first place. I would love to see a third Evil Within that goes back to being challenging, having a good atmosphere, ditches the open world bullshit, ditches the fucking dialogue box bullshit, ditches the clean look the second game had, and go back for that raw, kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre Saw feel that the first game had. Go back to having, the voice actors from the first game, back to the enemy designer, art designer you had for the first game. Just have Evil Within 3 be more like the first one, but better and improve on things, and just ignore the Evil Within 2 and don't take anything from it because it's a lame sequel, And I'm just disappointed that with the Evil Within 2, and I just really wasn't huge on it. I think the first one was a lot better. So yeah, that's my number 2 choice for one of the game series I want to see return in 2022. I love the Evil Within. I think it's a really cool series. I think it has a lot of potential. It could be like the next Resident Evil, Silent Hill franchise of the new generation, but I feel like it needs to have more games. It's only had 2 games, a really good one and a really crappy one that was a lame follow-up to the first one, lost all the magic of the first one. And I would love to see the Evil Within get more games, get more entries, and just be around longer. I would love to see Evil Within 3, 4, 5, etc. I want to see Evil Within get more games, and that's definitely a series I would like to see return in the year 2022. It's a really good series, and I want a new game. That way they can go back to the first one, more in that style, and improve over the lackluster sequel, So yeah, that's my number 2 choice, is the Evil Within. That's a series I want to see return in 2022, and it would be really cool to see it because that series has a lot of potential, and I really like the first one, and I want to see more of the Evil Within games, as long as it's in the style of the first one, not the second one. So my number one choice for game series that I want to see return in 2022 is the Dead Rising franchise. Now, I'm a big fan of the Dead Rising franchise. It's probably my favorite zombie game series of all time. I love the Dead Rising games. Dead Rising 1 is my favorite. I love that one the most. Dead Rising 2 is a decent sequel. Off the Record's a decent as well. Case West and Case Zero were pretty good, but that's the only good ones. Dead Rising 3 was a piece of shit and sucked. Dead Rising 4 was a piece of shit and sucked. I feel like Dead Rising started so good, and it just lost its magic and lost its luster as the series went on, you know? Dead Rising 2 tried to at least keep some of what made 1 good, but I still don't think it was better than the first one. It definitely could have been a lot better than what it was, but it was still decent. But after Dead Rising 2, the series went downhill. I hated 3, I hated 4, I thought they lacked everything that made Dead Rising special. They lacked the magic of Dead Rising. It turned into a series that was unique, had so much going for it. It wasn't just about killing zombies, it was about escorting survivors, managing a strict timer, a really good story, interesting characters, using everything and anything as a weapon, and many more things that made Dead Rising what Dead Rising is. It went from that to, with Dead Rising 3 and 4, just becoming a fucking zombie killing simulator. It just became only about killing zombies, and it became boring, stale, generic, no magic, no personality, no flair, and it lost everything that made Dead Rising special with 3 and 4. They fucked that franchise up and fucking ruined it, and I hate what happened to Dead Rising. Now, it sucks that it sucks that people lost their jobs, but at the same time, I'm glad Dead Rising got taken out of the hands of Capcom Vancouver, because I did not want them to continue making Dead Rising games, because they were just fucking that franchise up. They lost sight of what Dead Rising was and what fans want from it, and tried to turn it into something else and just fucking ruin it. And from what I heard of Dead Rising 5, I'm glad that got axed, as well as Vancouver not being involved with the series anymore, because apparently Dead Rising 5 was going to be like Dark Souls, like a Dead Rising game, but like Dark Souls. It's like, fuck no. I would have been pissed off by that, because Dead Rising is not fucking Dark Souls. It's Dead fucking Rising. And another reason would have pissed me off is I'm not a fan of Souls games, and it would have just been bullshit to take Dead Rising in that direction. Just copying other shit instead of Dead Rising standing on its own like it used to. So that's a game series I would love to see return in 2022, because that franchise has been fucked after the second one, I'd say, even though I think the first one's the best, and they started to kind of have issues with part 2, but I think the series really got bad with 3 and 4, and I want to see that franchise go back to basics. I would love to see Dead Rising return and actually go back to its damn roots, unlike what Vancouver told us and lied to us about Dead Rising 4 going back to its roots. The only roots Dead Rising 4 went back to is having Frank and Willamette, but it was just a lame, bastardized version of them. Not even the versions we liked of them. Willamette didn't even look anything like Willamette from the first one. Frank in Dead Rising 4 was nothing like Frank. I don't know who the hell it is, but that's sure as hell not fucking Frank West. So yeah, I would love to see Dead Rising return in 2022. It's a good series. It has so much potential, and I want to see the series return because it's my favorite zombie game franchise. I love the series, and I want to see it come back, and I want to see more new games and have them be more in line with the first Dead Rising and what Dead Rising started as, rather than trying to copy other games or do what you're going to do with 5 with this Dark Souls shit, or go in the direction of 3 and 4. Don't do any of that shit. Bring Dead Rising back. Bring it back to basics. Bring it back to what it was and what us fans wanted, which is strict time limit, escorting survivors, psychopaths, a challenge, you know, some impact when you're fighting and killing zombies like the first game had, with so much attention to detail that game had, a really good story, really interesting characters, an interesting setting, a fucking mall, have some nice color to the game, use the MT framework engine again, please, because they used that for the first game and it made the game look so good and high quality. After the first Dead Rising, they stopped using that engine. I don't mind the engine with 2, but it just isn't as good as the DR1 engine. And if Dead Rising comes back, they need to take it back to the basics, make it more like what people want, which is strict timer, escorting survivors, a challenge, psychopaths, good story, a mall setting, and more in line with what Dead Rising is, and not just some generic zombie killing simulator. Because yeah, you kill zombies in Dead Rising 1 and 2, but that's not all what it's about. It was more than just killing zombies. It was about escorting survivors, managing your time limit, the story, the characters. There was more than just killing zombies. And that's all the fucking franchise became. The later it went on with fucking 3 and 4, which were big pieces of shit because they had none of the magic of the Dead Rising games and what Dead Rising was. They were just generic zombie killing games, and they were just fucking lame. They lacked all the magic of what Dead Rising was. So that's my number one game series that I would love to see return in 2022 because it's a great series. It has a lot of potential, and I want to see it return, go back to basics, and actually be the franchise that us fans want. And one more reason I want to see it come back is I actually want to see Dead Rising surpass the first one. We haven't had one Dead Rising sequel that has surpassed the first one, and that's fucking sad because they made like 4 of those games, 5 if you include Off the Record. And while 2 and Off the Record is decent, I don't hate them. They're not as bad as 3 and 4, but there hasn't been a single Dead Rising sequel that could surpass the first one. And I want to see that series come back, and I want to see them actually make new Dead Rising games that are actually better than the first one, because that's what sequels are supposed to be. I shouldn't be sitting here saying the first game's the best one. I should be saying the fourth's the best one. But they fucked their job up, didn't do the series right. So that's another reason I want to see Dead Rising come back. Make a new sequel, make more games that are more fucking in line with the first one, and make it better than the first one. So yeah, that's my overall list for 4 game series I want to see come back to 2022. I'll go over them again. Like I said, number 4 is Def Jam. That one's a little bit unlikely because I don't know what's up with that series. The last game we had was Def Jam Icon, and I don't know what where the company and developers stand on that series and what's going on with it. I think there was like some tweet or post from somebody from Def Jam about like some return of Def Jam, or like some picture, some fan-made picture called Def Jam Worldwide with Eminem and MGK. But other than that, I don't really know what else is going on with Def Jam and the developers and if it's coming back or not. So the future of that series and the chances of it coming back are pretty slim and just up in the air. And then, of course, my number 3 choice was Left 4 Dead. When it comes to Left 4 Dead, I would love to see the series come back, but I don't know if they will make a new one. I mean, Valve don't even do sequels with their other series, so who knows if they'll even, like a third entry, I meant. They don't really do third entries, it seems like, so who knows if they'll even do it for Left 4 Dead. It just kind of seems like Valve has become complacent, doesn't really want to make games anymore because they make so much money off of Steam and stuff like that. So in terms of Left 4 Dead and its future, I don't know what's going on with that. It's a lot more up in the air, so I don't know where the future holds for Left 4 Dead, but would love to see it return. But it just seems like it might not come back. I don't know. But Valve's making money off Steam. Just doesn't seem like they have much interest in revisiting it as well as their other series. So it's hard to say what's going to happen with Left 4 Dead or where the future of that is. It's just kind of up in the air and just uncertain. And then my number 2 choice is The Evil Within. Now, I would say out of all the ones on this list, I think this franchise and maybe Dead Rising probably have the most likely chance of coming back, but still, it is uncertain because The Evil Within, the first one was very successful. It was decent. It sold like 4 million. The Evil Within 1 did pretty well. Had good promotion, of course, Shinji Mikami behind it. The Evil Within 1 was successful. I mean, it's successful enough to have a sequel at least. So The Evil Within 1 was a successful game. However, though, The Evil Within 2 was not a successful game. I heard it sold really poorly, apparently only making it to like 1 million sales, which is like way less than Evil Within 1, but I think that boils down to the time Evil Within 2 came out. It boils down to that game just not really having good promotion, not having Shinji's name attached to it like that, like the first one did. And, you know, this is just another assumption of mine, but I think another reason it sold poorly is because it's just not good, and it's not anything like the first game, and it's, you know, it was a lame follow-up, but maybe that's not a reason, but that's one of my reasons, I guess I would say. So yeah, the Evil Within 1 sold well, the Evil Within 2 didn't sell well. And Evil Within 2 came out in 2017, so we haven't had anything since. I did see a report that the Evil Within IP was registered, or the trademark or whatever, so maybe they'll bring it back. You know, like ZeniMax, Bethesda, everybody involved in Bethesda and ZeniMax, they were all bought by Microsoft, and they are owned by them now. So maybe Microsoft will fund a new Evil Within and want to bring it back with them. We'll have to see where that goes. But as of now, the future of Evil Within is up in the air. First game sold well, second game wasn't that successful, and we haven't had anything since besides a report I saw about a trademark or something being used again for the series. I mean, Microsoft did buy them. They did buy Tingle Gameworks and Bethesda and ZeniMax and all of them, so they could bring it back and fund it, but we'll have to see what happens to it. It's uncertain. I don't know if Evil Within will come back. And then, of course, my number 1 choice was with Dead Rising. Now, when it comes to Dead Rising, you know, the first one sold well, the second one sold well, the third one was really successful from what I read, but then I read that Dead Rising 4 was a failure. Apparently, Dead Rising 4 when it launched, it sold very poorly. It didn't even make it to 1 million sales, which is pretty pathetic. I think it is at 1 million sales now, but apparently it was like a financial failure for the company and a failure for Capcom. And because the game was such a failure, reception-wise and sales-wise, Capcom shut down Capcom Vancouver, which was the main developer of Dead Rising after the first one with 2, 3, and 4, originally called Blue Castle Games. Capcom shut them down probably due to how much of a failure and how poor Dead Rising 4 turned out, and they're no longer around. So the future of Dead Rising is very uncertain because we had a few games, then the fourth one sold poorly, it did poorly, then Capcom shut down Vancouver. So I don't know where the future of Dead Rising is. That's the last thing that happened, was the shutdown of Capcom Vancouver because of how 4 did, and then that report of what Dead Rising 5 was supposed to be. And that's all we've had from Dead Rising ever since, is just that shutdown of Vancouver, the failure of DR4, and then the mention of what Dead Rising 5 was supposed to be, but that was axed after Vancouver got shut down. And that's really all we have in Dead Rising. We don't really know if Dead Rising is going to come back. Capcom hasn't really talked about Dead Rising in a while. There hasn't been a Dead Rising game since 2016, and I don't know what the future of that franchise is, and if it will come back. It's very uncertain, but whatever the case may be, even though Dead Rising's future is very uncertain, and we don't know if it's coming back or not, and Capcom hasn't really talked about it, I would love to see the series come back. So yeah, that was my video about 4 game series I want to see return in 2022. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm not saying this is factual. This is just like a wish list, fun video I wanted to make just to talk about some game series I would love to see return in 2022. Because as I've said in my other videos about gaming nowadays, I'm just not all that happy or just ecstatic about the direction gaming is headed. I feel like there's less and less stuff coming out that I care about. And it would just be nice to see some of these franchises, or at least one of them, return in 2022, so I can actually start to care about some new games again and give a shit about maybe getting a PS5 or Series X. Because as I see it, I see no reason to get a PS5 or a Series X. I'm not interested in either of them. There ain't shit to play on them, and there isn't much I care about when it comes to gaming nowadays. So that's my video for 4 game series I want to see return in 2022 this year. Just a fun video. It would be great to see these franchises come back. I hope it happens. That's really all I have to say. Let me know what franchises you would like to see return in 2022. I encourage comments, and I also encourage video responses. If people want to make their own list or talk about their own franchises they'd like to see in 2022, I definitely encourage video responses to see what your picks are, either in video response form or comments. I definitely advocate for it. So that's all I got to say. Peace.